Well, if we find all these other toxic metals in people that are indicative of brain problems, then can we say that all this mental illness is due to stuff that's been sprayed, or is in the air, or food, or water?
What I do know is that if aluminum is one of the primary ingredients in some of that chemtrail, when they started talking about the toxicity of certain metals and what it did to the human brain, the allergies that it could produce in the body as well as the brain, their brain allergies as well as their like body allergies.
Okay, 1 in 5 are crazy in America.
Yeah, 20% of the U.S. adults. And what I'm seeing is toxicity in the form of Asperger's disorder. I'm seeing it in autism and the Asperger's syndrome. There's more and more kids with that. There's no question that some of the heavy toxic metals, mercury, lead, cadmium, and I think now I'm aware that like aluminum, barium, and things that are being sprayed, these things are filtering down, and people are picking it up through either their water supply or their food supplies, or things that we typically would think would be safe products or not. Just this week, there was about 5 of the big pharmaceutical companies who've been producing drugs that they knew were toxic but did nothing to do that. The FDA has now come down on them. These are big pharma companies. One of the things that I see that might be very helpful is to just get a hair sampling and find out like what kind of metal toxicity do you have in your bottle? What's the level of that? And then the next thing would be is just to probably try to educate people like what foods they can eat, what kind of things, agents that they can take that will take this out of their body, so that they can not have the side effects of metal is that it begins to hurt the brain.
You've taken a hair sample, and we're going to get it back very soon, and from that, will you then show it to patients to encourage them to know what the enemy is?
Yeah, I think that's reasonable, because once they discover what metals it might be in their child or family member, is that if they can see high toxic levels of it, they know the emotional disorders that are a result of that. They also can begin to make plans to actually rid their body of that, but they've got to know, because it's going to make them sick, physically and mentally. So it needs to be an approach that I don't know what the cost is in the physician's office, or whether it's a routine test. I don't think it is. But later, if I'm able to take another hair sample, say a year from now, and I see that there are higher levels than what might be expected just from like year to year living, is that I know that there must be a source of where that toxic metal is coming from. And I have to look at it. I have to look at it in terms of it, to look at the children that are going to be born with the needless kind of mental disorders that they have right now is just criminal, in my opinion. It should not be allowed. And there should be some kind of recognition that everybody understands, everybody knows. I'm not sure, what the valid excuse is now for it. There's lots of things that one can conclude, but it just doesn't seem to be a valid practice at all.